Hello, hi. Welcome to the live session. Sorry we had a little technical glitch. So, welcome. Let's begin today's photo. Today we are going to be painting hummingbirds with some flowers around it. And yes, so let's begin. I'm going to sketch. I'm going to do a very light sketching of the hummingbird, and yes, that's it. And other flowers in the picture that we see. That picture has. So in this picture that we see, it has a lot of hibiscus flowers. So it's up to you. You can either do the same hibiscus flower with me, or you can also do some other flower, whichever you are comfortable doing. So this is a little graphic image that I found, and I found the composition being very interesting. So I thought we should do something like this. And the colors of the bird is where we have in the hummingbird we have a pink, a green. So I'm going to stick to only using blue and green as the color of a hummingbird. All right, so let's begin. Let's start working with the a light sketch for your hummingbird. So if you're new to the channel and the live, I am Nilofer from Me with a Pencil, and welcome to my live. I'm going to divide my paper into 3 parts for a better idea where we want to do the composition, where we want to add the bird. How to divide the paper now? I am using a little more, the paper is a little bigger than A5 size. So you can use it if you're using an A5 size, that's also fine. If not, A4 is also okay. So you don't have to. It's absolutely okay. Don't worry if you don't have the same size of the paper. How would you divide the paper into? Just randomly, I am taking 3 finger space from the top, 3 to 4 finger space from the bottom, and around 4 finger space in the middle section. This is. You can also take a measurement and divide the paper into 3 halves, but I would suggest go a little freehand. All right. I'm going to do the bird here in the center piece. I'm going to do the birds in the center piece over here, and the flowers will flow in from here, all the directions. All right. The colors that I'm using today is Winsor Newton or Mission Gold from Art Launch. It's a brand store in Mumbai, and paper is 100% cotton paper. So I would request, if you have 100% cotton paper, it will be really nice. Let's begin. To start, use a very light pencil and a lighter sketch. The lighter your sketch is, it will be better for you. If you have any questions, you can drop in at the comment section, and I would be happy to help you with any comments, with any doubts. So let's. So on the first angle towards the first grid line, I'm going to draw a thin triangle shape. Hi, crystal of snow. I don't know your name. Can you tell what's your name? Thank you so much for liking our channel. Okay, so I'm going to make a C curve over here at the top. Okay, another C round curve on the bottom, and then you can take this and go all the way down till your second grid line. This we can erase if it's up and down, so don't worry on that, how much we are going, how long we have gone and that part. You're extending the line, and I'm going to add a little U shape on the side wing, for the side wing. And from here, so just cross the angle. It's going to be, this one ends, and from just where it ends, you can start the second wing of the bird. Again, go outside a little curved. Okay, and going down inward. Okay. And then just connect the down part going here. And when you're coming downwards, I am going to non-expensive watercolor. Hi Madhura, how are you? Thank you. Can you mention some good non-expensive watercolors? Brushes. Okay, so there are multiple brushes that you can use. I have these, the ones that I'll be using. They are a little expensive, as in they're not in thousands, but they're in hundreds, but they have a very good quality, and then you can definitely use them. So I'm just joining the tail. And here I'm going to erase this part. So my hummingbird is done. You can change the angle or contour it according to you. And a little foot. It's okay if it is not perfect. You can just work out. So here there will be some lines which we'll do it directly with watercolors. I want to make this a little bit more round and a little bit more clear. So I'm just adding more curve shape. Now once this is done, I can make the guidelines a little bit more lighter. Jonita, my name is Nilofer. Okay, so I've just I've removed the U shape, and I've added some lines over there. Okay, now we're done. We don't need to make the flowers. We're going to directly paint the flowers using loose floral techniques. All right, so these flowers, you can, if you want, you can add a little bit of rough lines, that your one flower is going to be here, your leaf is going to be here, another leaf flower is here. So just, if you want to, you can make these kind of rough lines, and this is going to be ending here. Now let's begin. The brushes I'll be using, okay. So yes, I will add the list of brushes in the description box, definitely, after the live is saved. So the live will take a while, say by tomorrow the live will be saved, and in that we will add the description of the brushes. Okay, so there are different types of brushes. I'm going to very quickly show you. These are round brushes. This is a thin brush, flat brush, and a mop brush. These brushes are from Kazan Brush hairbrush, Kazan hairbrushes from Art Essential. So this is the brush that I was talking about, that these are not very expensive. They are in the range of hundreds to 1,000, but not overly expensive, but they're decent and they have a good quality brushes. I'm going to be using these brushes major during the whole session. They are from Art Essentials Art Launch. This is by one of my favorite brushes for line, for details. It's fantastic. It's from Princeton. Princeton also has good quality brushes. You can also look for them too. And this is a mop brush from Escoda. So let's begin. I'm going to wet the whole surface. I'm using a mop brush, or you can also use a flat brush for wetting the surface. Both are okay. If you don't have a mop brush, you can use a flat brush. Absolutely fine. Jonita, which one is the best for? Which one is the best for Shoita? From Escoda is definitely a high quality brush, but it's on an expensive side. It's on an expensive range. So I always prefer to start with a simpler range of brushes and then move to a expensive range, so that you know what brushes you want and what brushes you would require in future, and then accordingly invest into whichever brush you want. Like it's not necessary that you use all sizes. So what sizes do you really need? According to that you can invest. So I'm using sap green. I'm going to do the background first. Now the areas that I've very roughly marked, I'm not going to add any colors over there. Even if I do, I'm going to add some reds. So I'm using sap green, and in red I'm using a Windsor red. You can use cadmium reds, scarlet, any warm red colors. While my paper is still wet, I'm adding some colors as for my background. So this is called as background wash. Sap green. I'm not going to add any color to the bird. For a beginner, it would be best to start off with a pan. But if you want to get a tube, that is also fine. But get a tube and a palette. At the end, I'll show you my palette. In that palette, you can just remove all the colors, put it in the well, dry it for 25%, 24 hours, sorry, and then use the colors always. So take some phthalo blue and add some phthalo blue in the middle. So the first layer of color that I've added, it's a very light layer of color, the sap green. That's why I can add some blue and it's not going to turn into some muddy color. Okay. Now here I'm going to add some reds. Again, this is not my final tone of red. Some blues with the stroke that is going outwards. Now if you have a hair dryer, you can use a hair dryer and you can dry the whole surface. That will give you a good nice full dry surface, and you'll be able to work on it. Okay, When I started painting in 3 years ago, uh, around 2017 18. 17 was when I started, and 18 is when I took it up 100%. So I'm using a very thin brush because you can use a 2 number brush for this. And the color that I'm using here is a green and blue mix. Use that and quickly blend it out. So my paper is 100% cotton paper, but it has a quality of a fabric material. There are some papers which have these kind of material, this kind of special features, I would say. They're a little different. That's why you can see that it soaks up the color very easily. I'm adding some sap green in the middle. So as I mentioned, I'm going to keep the bird color a little different than what I can see in the picture. Okay, now we're going to do the beak. The beak is going to be a little red and little red. So make sure the paper has dried. If not, then wait for the paper to dry. It's okay. Or you will get a bleed through, and that wouldn't be nice. Okay, and here. So I'm using burnt sienna, and I'm adding these little feather lines. Okay, and I'm going to add some burnt sienna more over here at the tummy area. Joita, where are you from? More lines, very lightly, thin lines. Oh, nice. Taking another layer of sap green and adding it on the top. Okay. Now let's do the feathers part. I am from Mumbai, India. I'm adding more color to the tail. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly take some break and add some, not add some, actually dry it off quickly a little. check it from the back of your hand. So you can just do a testing from the back of your hand, and that's it. It is a little less wet now, I can say, more than sunny dry. I'm going to take now a crimson color and start making the flowers. I'll let the bird dry and breathe a little till I do some of the I'm adding some lines and straight lines and adding the leaves. You can keep switching the colors a little, keep adding some blue and making it darker. Now when I'm doing this, I'm going to switch a bit of composition according to me, because I want to add a little bit more lines over there and here, so it's going to be a little different. Not going to be exactly the same. And then it's no fun experimenting. Some warm yellow like a Gamboa hue or Indian yellow. Do share the video if you like the video, and do like, subscribe, and please don't forget to share it with your friends and anyone you know that would love to paint with me. I'm adding some brown in the middle. If you have any questions regarding anything related to watercolors or anything else, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. So I'm doing an entirely loose floral watercolors. So I'm doing an open, full open one over here, and these were little closed sections, different. Hi Rashi, thank you. Alright, then we are almost not done. I mean, there's still watercolor techniques I like the most. I really like doing wet on wet. It's one of my favorites. And also the blending technique. These two are the best techniques that you can use. Hi Shweta, thank you so much. All these kind of comments just fills my heart so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So we're almost done. We still have to do a little bit of. Sorry, got lost with the words. We still have to do the bird a little bit, and so you can see I'm using a Princeton Velvet Touch for all the details. Just love this brush. This brush, I don't use this brush for anything else except details, like all the minute details and everything. This brush has been with me for a very long time. I think I started this I think from past 2 years. This is a synthetic brush. Unfortunately, synthetic brush do not stay with you for a very long time. They fray and then you cannot use them. But this brush has been with me for too long. I can say for at least 2.5 years. Even though the tip has totally frayed, there is nothing left in the tip, but the thinness that I still get using the tip is just, I feel it's magical. So I totally love this brush from Princeton Velvet Touch. It was a very perfect buy, you could say. Not expensive. It is a little bit of expensive, but worth of every penny that I've spent on this brush. And I really love these kind of strokes that it gives me for the leaves, at least. I don't know if it is, I mean, I do use it for my boat and waters and painting some still life. So I do know that it has worked well for me. Again, I always feel that it is to one's own preferences too. Um, I have a video, or I have a Madhura. I have a video on blending. Sorry, basic techniques. This it's a three-part series which covers a lot of about some basic techniques that you can get you started. So you can try with that. It's there in the playlist. It's there on the playlist, so you can get it. Thank you so much, Joita. Final touches. I know I can get really carried away while doing so. Okay. All right. I have to add some little buds too, which I really love making. Small buds. Okay, now let's finish the bird and then we should be done. As I keep saying, and I just see something and then I want to add more of leaves, I think. Yeah. Okay. I will try to put them in, put the basic playlist link in the description. So Mathura, I think that would be helpful. And you can definitely check that out and also go and see that. Okay, let's finish the bird now. Like, seriously, finish the bird. So I'm going to do the eye first. Let's do the eye. So when I'm doing the eye, I'm going to keep a little white space just to give that little touch. Okay, and that's it. Let's take some, this is my another favorite color. It's called Cobalt Turquoise from Winsor & Newton, and really beautiful color. You mix it with a blue or a green and you get another set of, just an amazing set of colors. So I'm adding that on the top, and some blue in the shadings over here. It's a beautiful bird. I mean, hummingbirds have, it's just beautiful. So your favorite birds or animals, you can let me know. Probably we can do another session with more animals, birds, or some scenes. I would love if you guys can give me some suggestions. That would help me also to come up with something interesting YouTube lives. And also let me know if you want me to do more of these. I mean, if you give me an idea of what you would like to see as a YouTube live in the comments, that would help us make more videos and do more lives. So I also be very precise when you want to say landscape. Be very precise and tell me what kind of landscape you would want to see to be painted, because there is like a million types of different landscapes. So what we just did, that's also kind of a landscape, but which has a little details of and everything. So if you want to see a landscape, let's be detailed of what we want to see and elaborate. If you want to see some flowers, florals, you can also let me know. And if you want to learn more in details about how to paint flowers, like loose flowers, how it be done here, I have a class on Skillshare. You can join that class, which I'll also again link it in the description so, tongue twister description below. And we are almost done. Hi, Prasida. I hope I've pronounced your name properly. Sorry for. So I'm just making like really thin lines to give that like nice feather look. And we are done. I taking burnt sienna again and making some feather lines. So the bird in the picture looks really sharp and cunning, and my bird looks really sweet and innocent. I just do not wanted to make hummingbird that way. Cobalt. Now I'm going to add my final touches of some colors, just randomly throwing, which I really love to do. Before we end here, just sprinkles of colors and blend them, some of them. You can leave like some more blots. I mean, if you want to make it a more blotted, you can do that too, like this. And finally, cherry blossoms, watercolor peacock. Nice, interesting suggestions. Cherry blossom does sound nice. Even peacock sounds nice. Slowly remove the masking tape. Please be careful removing masking tapes. The boon they can be a really big trouble too. Always when you're peeling off your masking tape, make sure you're peeling off the tape on the outer side. It's like a pro tip. I feel it really helps. Never go like straight, it just rips off the paper too. So always try to remove the tape on one direction. All right, yes, I'm done. So I'm done. And finally, let's just add your sweet little signature. Hi, Anne. And that's it. Just going to remove this, and I'm also going to show you the palette. Like promised, it's a little dirty or a full mess. I'm going to keep the painting on the side, just on the side for 2 minutes. And this is my palette. It's a double-decker palette from Mission Gold, a fantastic palette, airtight palette. And like I mentioned, you use tubes or watercolor cakes, doesn't matter. If you're using a tube, then you can always pour in colors like this and let it dry for overnight, 24 hours, and then it's just like your cakes. It's the difference between the cakes, dried cakes, and these tubes. The major difference is that the cakes are baked, so getting pigment off the cakes is a little tricky and takes time. But I always suggest, if you are a beginner, because I also started with cakes, beginners should start with cakes. It's in that way we do not end up wasting a lot of pigment, because if I go right now and if it's from the tubes, even if you've dried them, they are not baked, so still after you just re-wet them, you get a lot of pigment in your brush. So it's always good to start off using cakes. You get a good hang of how much you're using, how much color you're using, and then slowly build on with pigments. You learn how to build on pigments, how much pigments you need, and all that stuff. So it's always better to start off with cake. That's my advice and suggestion. But if you're a fan of tubes and you want to have this, this is another way of having a palette. So thank you guys, and always another thing, after finishing, do not close the palette on the spot. Just let it dry on the paper, on your table or anywhere for some time. Once it's dried, then close the palette, or else it would start you will start getting molds on your paints. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching the live. I'll see you guys in the next live session. Please do subscribe and follow us, and bye bye guys. Thank you.